Start the recording. Okay. Okay. So here I'm getting the response. I'm getting the response. Okay. I'm getting the response as a container is running. Okay. Stop the container before before removing or force remove. ఓకే సో వాళ్ళు ఏం చెప్తున్నారంటే కంటైనర్ అనేది రన్ అవుతా ఉంది సో యూ కెనాట్ రిమూవ్ ద కంటైనర్ ఓకే సో ఫర్ దట్ సెక్యూరిటీ if anybody come and like the running container trying to delete so using rm so it won't allow you to uh, delete that container so it is saying container is running so stop the container will not be possible okay so but still I want to remove okay so either I need to stop the container I need to stop the container let me stop the container okay so I stop the container. Okay, and now I can delete this. See, now the container has been deleted. If you see docker ps-a, you cannot see that container ID 47a in this list. In this list. In this list. Okay. So now, if you want to remove the container which is created, see, this is created state, right? This is created state. You can delete. We can delete this. See, the container deleted. Even if you the exited stop the containers, we can delete directly. We can delete directly. See, I'm deleting. Okay, I'm deleting. See, if you see Docker ps-a, now all the containers. Now there is one more. So I'll go and delete that. So I can directly delete that which is the status as created and exited. Exited means stop. Okay, so I can delete. I can delete. Okay, so all containers are up only. So if you try to delete now any up running containers, so it will say what it will say. Okay, it will say the container is running, so stop the container is before you remove it before you remove it. But still, I want to delete. I don't want to stop and use rm command. So what you need to do, just give the hyphen f. F means forcibly I'm deleting. Forcibly I'm deleting. See, forcibly. And I'm just forcing to the container to be terminated. Okay. So Docker ps-a, see that container deleted. 931 is not there in the list. Not there in the list. Okay. Not there in the list. Okay. So this is the way we use Docker. But there are few requirements come. Your application should always run there on the Docker itself, not on the Kubernetes. Docker. Only few of the internal applications might be running, will be running on the Docker, only on the Docker. Okay, the customer or like internal team or internal manager will ask you to, I need this application. This application should be created through the Docker and deployed through the Docker only, not on the Kubernetes. So if you must aware of this, all the commands. Okay, so I just forcibly deleted that container. Forcibly, I deleted the container. So మనము Docker PS, hyphen Docker PS. These are all the running containers. These are all the running containers. సో మనం ఏదైనా ఒక అప్లికేషన్ రన్ అవుతుంది అంటే ఓకే మనం ఏదైనా అప్లికేషన్ రన్ అవుతుందంటే సో మనం లాగ్స్ చెక్ చేస్తాం లాగ్స్ చెక్ చేయాలి అప్లికేషన్ యొక్క లాగ్స్ లైక్ చెక్ చేయాలి వెదర్ నా అప్లికేషన్ సక్సెస్ఫుల్ గా సెటప్ అయిందా లేదా ఏమైనా ఎర్రర్స్ ఉన్నాయా లేవా సో ఇక్కడ ఇన్స్టెన్స్ వన్స్ నేను ఒక ఇన్స్టెన్స్ లో అప్లికేషన్ డిప్లాయ్ చేసిన తర్వాత ఓకే యూజింగ్ యూజర్ డేటా సో I'll go and see the log here system get system log I can get the log from here so I'm seeing the log of nginx I'm seeing my instance log okay whatever I given as a user data that that will be displayed here it will be displayed here as a log so in the same way container has also has the option to see the logs. Container is also having the option to see the logs whether your application have been successfully deployed on the Docker or not. Okay, so how do you see this? Docker log. Log is a command. Okay, and the container ID. The container ID. The container ID. See, Docker logs. Docker logs. I'm seeing my Docker, the Nginx, the Nginx is up and running or not. Like ready and start for up, ready for startup. So everything you can see. So who is accessing everything you can see here on the Nginx. So whoever login, see, I just put the request to this Docker container from this IP address. Whoever login, general ga, we will maintain all these details and matter. Okay, see 404 error. 404 means page not found. Page not found. Okay, so here if you see 200 means success. 200 means success. Okay, this one field no such file or directory. Everything will be tracked with help of generally they use the logs where they push 404 and 200 to the logs. So that's what I'm seeing here. Okay, that's what I'm seeing here. Logs. Okay, so where it will generate one log file. So using this logs command, it will go and connect to that particular log file and it will display here. So you can display just an whoever log in to my application, whoever connecting my application, who are requesting my application, every details will do. See, I'm connecting from this instance. I'm connecting from this instance. So it will display all the details, the user details, based on the developer instrumenting the what kind of the logs they want to maintain. They want to search whenever they face any issues. So instrumenting those logs onto the specific log files on their system. Okay, so we can see that if any issues face, if any issues face, okay, if any issues face, so if you want to see what exactly happening inside the uh, inside the server, so if you use Docker logs, it will display whether their application is successfully installed or not. Is there any error with that? So you can see all of those details. You can see all of those details. You can see all of those details using logs command. Using logs command. You can use Docker logs -f. See, it is displaying. It is displaying who is like it is displaying in a dynamic way. In real time lo వాడతాం అన్నమాట. Enter. See, I'm getting the request details here. So who is connecting? So this my browser is connecting. This browser is connecting, which is Chrome. Okay. So it will display who is sending the request to this application. Okay. Who is requesting to this application. So whenever I'm refreshing, so I'm sending a request to my application. To my application. See, it is recording here. It is recording here. I'm seeing on the live. I'm seeing on the live. So it is not displaying any terminal. I'm just I'm just open my screen and I'm trying to like seeing the logs on the live. So who is accessing my application? Who is accessing my application? Okay, this is Chrome. Who is accessing my application? Okay, those details also it will display over there. అర్థమైందా? Any doubts? అర్థమైందా? Very
Yes, sir.
important. Okay, so if you want to see the logs, జనరల్గా మనం రియల్ టైంలో tail-f command వాడతాం. If you want to see in any file where our application is keep on writing the files to this, for example, file.log. Okay, నా అప్లికేషన్ ఏం చేస్తుందంటే కం అప్లికేషన్ ఏం చేస్తుందంటే కీప్ ఆన్ రైటింగ్ every milliseconds the details will write like this, details will be keep on writing to in this file. Okay, so if you execute this file is not existed, that is different scenario. Okay, so using this you can see on the live, on the dynamic way. Chundi, I've opened these logs. Okay, there are 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay, if I put one more request, okay, if I refresh the page, it means I'm just putting one more request. See, now now it will become 3 6 9 10. I'm just the another guy. This is the another guy who is seeing my logs on the live, on the live. So you can see at the end of the record what who is coming latest, current. So you can see these details. You can easily find out who is coming to my application. Okay, so that is why we need to use Docker logs-f to see the logs, which is the details which are recorded on that logs in a dynamic way on the live. Very, very important. అర్థమైందా? అర్థమైందా కదా? Okay, so this is logs. Okay, so Docker PS, sorry, Docker PS. Okay, so my application is running here. My application is running here. Okay, so and every time my every Docker container is getting the one IP address as instance will get. Okay, as instance will get. Okay, so from where this IP address will get? From where this IP address will get. So from where this instance will get IP address. So we have VPC, we have given the range. From that range, we like on that VPC, it will give in the backend AWS maintaining DHCP server where whenever new instance come, allocate one IP address. The DHCP will allocate the one IP address to the server. Okay, the same way, whenever you create a container, like whatever the container you are creating. So if you see, if I'm going to create control R, so Docker run, if you use Docker run, okay, F1 need, okay, sometimes F1 need, okay, it is not displaying. Maybe I logged out or something else. Okay, so I'm just giving name as app web 6. Okay, I'm just giving my port as 8082 and I'm just publishing my port 8282 onto the uh, so so I'll take this command. Okay, 8080 and the name is Nginx and I just want to give hyphen D daemon node. Okay, so whatever the Docker, whatever the uh, creating, so it will allocate one IP address. See, it is up and running in 3 seconds. So it will allocate one IP address. Even if you see Docker inspect, if you give this, it will get different IP address. It will get different IP address. Shouldn't it? Different IP address. Okay, it will get different IP address. Okay, it will get different IP address. Okay, so every container will get one IP address. So if you stop the server, if you stop the server, and if you start the server again, if you start the server again, sorry, if you start if you start the server again, okay, and if you inspect this again, see the same address, same IP address allocated. So this IP address may change or may not change. This IP address may change or may not change. IP address change అవ్వచ్చు అవ్వకపోవచ్చు. Okay. So how you are getting these IP addresses? How you are getting this IP address? Student, this is a network block. This is a network block. This is network block. See, as like a VPC, we have the gateway, an IP address, everything it has. Consider this is one kind of subnet, for example. It got one IP address on that instance on this network. So how are you getting this? Okay, if you see, there is a concept called network. There is a network command is like network command. If you see, what are all the networks are existed for the Docker? Okay, so Docker network, LS, see, these are all the networks have been created when I install my Docker. When I install my Docker, see the bridge, host, flow network. That means flow network. Okay, bridge network. So which will be like creating for your containers between the containers. Host means it will use the host network. It will use whatever the where the Docker has been installed that use that particular host network. Okay, generally in real time we use bridge network by default. There is one more overlays between two machines. Like if if you install Docker in one machine, VM1, okay. So if you want to communicate with another Docker machine which is running on the VM2, if you want communication to be happen on this, so we use overlays. We use overlays network. These overlays network that we will see in the um, Kubernetes. That we will see in the Kubernetes how this will be happen. How this will be happen. Okay. So by default it will be bridge network. So only by default it is a bridge network. See, even in the networks it is saying the bridge network. The driver is a bridge. They use creating this network as a bridge. See, it is a bridge. It is a bridge network. It is a bridge network. Okay. So So it is a bridge. It is a bridge network. Okay. So can we create our own network? Okay. So can we create our own network? So we can create. We can create. Okay. Docker network. Okay. Docker network. Create. Okay. And the network name. So whatever the network name you want to give, app web. So I want to create. I just want to create my, for example, RoboShop. For example, RoboShop. For RoboShop. So I just created my network. So if you see Docker, network ls. See, I created my network. I didn't given any driver as a bridge, but it will take by default driver as a bridge by default. Okay. So if you inspect this, okay, if you inspect, see, this is the subnet, the range. So where like if uh, bridge, like, so it is a kind of VPC consider. Okay, consider in terms of like Docker, subnet is a VPC. Consider this is a VPC. Okay, so from that, whatever the machines are installing on that VPC, that machine will get that range of in that range IP addresses only, right? అవునా? ఇప్పుడు VPCకి మనము ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ in the VPC we are given 10.0.1.0.0/16 ఇచ్చామనుకో. Okay. Though, so for subnet we allocated some range of IP addresses like 10.0.1.0/6/24 ఇచ్చామనుకోండి ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్. ఓకే. సో ఇప్పుడు సబ్నెట్ లో ఏదైతే ఇన్స్టెన్స్ పెడతామో ఆ ఇన్స్టెన్స్ కి ఏ రేంజ్ ఐపీ అడ్రస్ వస్తుంది? 10.0.1.0 టు సమ్ ఐపీ అడ్రసెస్, some range of IP address, like consider like 0.1.64 అనుకోండి. This many IP addresses will come. This in this range, the IP address will allocate to the instance, to the instance. Okay. This bridge, this RoboShop network, there is no VPC concept. VPC is related to the AWS. Okay. This is Docker network. Docker network. AWS network is different. Docker network is different. Okay, this is Docker network, so there will be no concept of VPC in the Docker. Okay, so this is subnet. Subnet has this range. This range. Okay, so for example, if I want to create, let me create hyphen subnet. Let me try this. Generally, we don't try. 10.1.0.0 the 0/16. Okay, Docker network create. I'll just take the help. I'll just take the help. I'll go www. Let's see how what I just given. Uh, Subnet gateway driver subnet. Just we need to give the subnet only, not subnet side. Sorry, subnets. This one. Okay, I'm just giving this. See, the network has been created within my range. So as like we create a VPC, right? So there is no VPC, the virtual private cloud, that is virtual, which means which is running. We are thinking VPC is somewhere created, but we cannot see where is this VPC created, right? So subnet we can see where it is created in which availability zone the subnet has been creating. So we'll give that when we create subnet we will select the availability zone. The subnet should be created in the particular availability zone. We can see those details, but VPC we cannot see. We just imagine virtual. Imagine. Okay, we will create big. So here we are using Docker. Docker doesn't have any VPC concept. Okay, here we have only subnet concept. So for the subnet, I allocated this range. Okay, so now I created network. I created network. So if I create any container now, if I create any container now, okay, if I create any container, okay, Docker run hyphen d hyphen me. Okay, so app robo. I'm just giving raw. Okay, hyphen p. Okay, so 8083 and I'm just giving 80808 and hyphen network hyphen network. The network name I'm giving robo shop one. RoboShop 1, I'll just give the Nginx. So I'm attaching this network to my container, to my container, to my container. So if I execute, the container has been created. Now Docker PS, see the container has been created on the 8083 3 seconds ago, 2 seconds ago. Okay. Now if you inspect, okay, if you inspect, this container should get the IP address in which range? In which range? ఈ కంటైనర్ కి ఏ రేంజ్ లో ఐపీ అడ్రస్ వచ్చి ఉండాలి? ఏదైతే ఈ కంటైనర్ క్రియేట్ అయిందో దానికి ఐపీ అడ్రస్ ఏ రేంజ్ లో రావాలి? హలో, ఏ రేంజ్ లో రాయాలి భయ్యా? నేను చెప్తున్నా, మీరు మూగ మనుషుల్లాగా వింటున్నారు. ఏ రేంజ్ లో రావాలి భయ్యా? మీకు అర్థం కాకుంటే పలకండి, లేకుంటే క్లాస్కి జాయిన్ అవ్వకండి. అర్థమైతే చెప్పండి, లేదంటే అర్థం కాలేదన్నా అని చెప్పండి, సరిపోద్ది. హలో, 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 ఎందుకు భయ్యా చిన్నపిల్లల్లా చేస్తారు అంతా? భయ్యా వినిపిస్తుందా?
ఇయర్స్ అన్న
ల్యాప్టాప్ ముందు పెట్టి అందరు బ్రష్లు చేయకపోయినారా ఏంది? పలకండి భయ్యా, నోరు పోతుంది ఇక్కడ. చిన్నపిల్లలా ఏంటి? అర్థమైతే అర్థం కాలేదు, అర్థం కాకుంటే అర్థం కాలేదని చెప్పాలి. ఆఫీసులో అడిగితే ఇట్లే ఉంటారు ఏంది గొప్ప తీసి? అలా ఉన్నారనుకో, అంతకంటే దరిద్రం ఇంకోటి ఉండదు. ఓకే. సో నాకు అది నేను చెప్పుకుంటూ పోతే బాగోదు అది. ఓకే. దాని బదులు నేను ఇలా చెప్పుకొని వీడియో రికార్డ్ చేసుకొని యూట్యూబ్లో పెట్టుకోవడం మేలు కదా, వ్యూస్ అని వస్తాయి. ఓకే. సో I've just created this container with this network. With this network has the range. This network has the range. If you see already, if you inspect RoboShop 1, okay. So this range, this one has the range. This one. See, this is a subnet. This is a subnet. Okay, and it is saying there is one container. There is a one container which is there is one container. See, 9D 9D374 9D74. When I inspect the network, it is saying okay, network details along with ఈ నెట్వర్క్ దేనికి అటాచ్ అయ్యింది, ఏ కంటైనర్స్ కి అటాచ్ అయ్యింది కూడా చెప్తుంది. చూడండి, 93 it is allocated, it is attached, this network is attached to this container. Okay, and this container has IP address 10.0.2. Okay, 10.0.0.2. This IP address is allocated for this container, and the name of the container is app role. You can see, inspect. Okay, so now let's go. ఈ కమాండ్ నిజంగా నిజం చెప్తుందో లేదో చూద్దాం. ఈ కమాండ్ ఏం చెప్తుంది? ఈ నెట్వర్క్ ఇన్స్పెక్ట్ చేసినప్పుడు, ఓకే, సో ఒక కంటైనర్ కి ఈ నెట్వర్క్ అటాచ్ చేసి ఉంది, ఆ కంటైనర్ కి ఐపీ అడ్రస్ అలొకేట్ చేసి ఉంది. ద కంటైనర్ నేమ్ ఇస్ దిస్ వన్. ఓకే, సో లెట్ మీ గివ్ దిస్ కంటైనర్ ఐడి. So this is the container ID. This is the container ID only. I copied. Fortunately, I copied correctly 12 numbers. Okay, if you inspect, see the IP address of the container 10.0.2, and the network name is RoboShop 1. The RoboShop 1. అర్థమైందా?
Yes, అన్న.
అర్థమైందా అని అడగడం కంటే గమ్మగుండడం లేదు. ఓకే. ఓకే. సో Docker inspect and the container rate. So it means we have created our own network and we have created our own subnet cider. So whatever the container is going to create in that subnet, okay, that will get the range from this in this from this range. Okay, so if you go and create one more, if you create one more RAB1. Okay, if I create one more, it should display in this section. There should be one more container. అరే భాయ్ ఇంకో కంటైనర్ క్రియేట్ అయ్యింది. ఇంకో కంటైనర్ ఇక్కడ ఈ కంటైనర్స్ లో ఇంకో కంటైనర్ చూపించాలి. ఆ కంటైనర్ కి ఫలానా ఐపీ అడ్రస్ అలొకేట్ అయి ఉండాలి. అలా అని చెప్పాలి. అండ్ ద కంటైనర్ నేమ్ ఈజ్ అని ఆ డీటెయిల్స్ కూడా ఇక్కడ రికార్డ్ చేయాలి. ఓకే, సో లెట్ మీ గో విత్ దిస్ వన్ అండ్ ఐల్ గో విత్ port number as 4. Okay, enter. Now if you go and inspect the same or network, okay, see now it is saying two containers, docker ps, the same container f6c4, f6c4 is recorded on that page. Okay, what network is saying, అరే ఒక ఇంకో కంటైనర్ కూడా ఈ నెట్వర్క్ అలొకేట్ చేసి ఉంది. This is the container id which is using this network, and this is the IP address of that container. This is the container name. Chudandi, the container name. Okay, and IP address. Like, is it really saying that it is connecting to that? The container has same IP address 10.0.3. Okay, let me go with this. See, 10.0.3 is my container ID, right? అర్థమైందా?
Yes, sir.
Yes, అన్న. Yes, అన్న.
Okay, so this is the way we use the network. The network. This is the way we use the network. Okay, the network is very like huge, vital topic. Okay, that we can see later. Okay, just understand this Docker commands and Docker concept. Okay, so how we create the network range and all. Okay, okay. So Docker network ls. So Docker network ls. So we can create our own networks. We can create our own range. We can create our own range. Okay, so we can create our own range. So this is the network. So how do we create network? Okay, so for example, if I create a Docker, if I if I don't want to use this, okay, if I don't want to use this, and I'm just giving 8085, and I'm just giving RoboShop Road 2. Okay, so the container is created. So Docker inspect on this inspect. Okay, Docker inspect, and then I'll give this. Okay, see, it got the default bridge network range. Okay, it got default network default bridge network range. Okay, so if you want to connect, if you want to connect the specific network, Docker network, connect. Okay, and then let's try this RoboShop 1. Okay, so now if you inspect this, if you inspect same container, See the now container, we change the container network. We change the container network. చూడండి the DNS name as a app, the name of the container, the DNS name. Like మనం లోడ్ బ్యాలెన్సర్ క్రియేట్ చేసినప్పుడు లోడ్ బ్యాలెన్సర్ నేమ్ క్రియేట్ అయింది, దట్ ఈస్ కన్సిడర్ యాజ్ ఎ లోడ్ బ్యాలెన్సర్ DNS నేమ్. ఇక్కడ కూడా ఎప్పుడైతే కంటైనర్ కి నేమ్ ఇస్తావో దట్ ఈస్ కన్సిడర్ యాజ్ ఏ DNS నేమ్స్. ఓకే, దట్స్ వాట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ సేయింగ్, the name of the container as a DNS names of for the containers. Okay, we can change the network as well if you want. If anybody asks you, my container is running, so I want to change the network. So is it possible? So it is possible. We can change that network for the container which is running. అర్థమైందా?
Yes, Anna.
Okay, so like Docker PS. Okay, so Docker PS hyphen A hyphen Q. చూడండి, hyphen A, it will display all the processes, but from all the process I want only IDs of container, IDs of container. I want only IDs of the container. So now I can remove docker rm hyphen f. So let's try this, whether it will go and delete all these containers or not. Okay, so I just use this. See, now let me see Docker PS. All the containers have been removed. Okay, so don't use much of this command before deleting it. This will remove all the containers. This will remove all the containers. Okay, okay. So make sure, like, so what containers if you want to delete, you can delete. Okay, so what I'll do. Okay, Docker PS hyphen A. So all the containers will be deleted, running and stopped containers, everything has been deleted. Okay, now if I go, I'll go with the 8080 from starting. Okay, 88 only, and I'll go with raw. Okay, so I'll just create it. Okay, so Docker PS. Okay, it is up and running. It is up and running. So I'll create one more. The 8080. Okay, and this will be a raw 2. Raw 2. So consider app raw is raw is front-end app, front-end app. Okay, and app raw 2 అనేది RAP 2 అనేది backend database, okay. So front end app is always connecting to the database, right? The front end app is always connecting to the backend database. Okay, backend database. Okay, so let me try connecting from front end app to this particular rob app 2. Rob app 2. Let me try that. Okay, let me try that. How do we connect from app front end app to app rob 2 container? App 2. It means consider app rob లో ఒక అప్లికేషన్ రన్ అవుతుంది, app rob 2 లో డేటాబేస్ రన్ అవుతుంది. సో యాప్ కంటైనర్ అనేది రోప్ షాప్ కి కనెక్ట్ అవుతుందా లేదా అనేది చెక్ చేద్దాం. ఓకే, సో బిఫోర్ దట్ we will get the IP address range of the containers. Okay, so app rob. Okay, this is the IP. This is the IP. Okay, I'll paste it here. Okay, so I'll just give Control C, and for rob 2, so what is the IP address? This one. Okay, I'll just paste it. Okay, so Control C. Okay, so it is not mandatory to press Control C. Okay, I'm just copying IP address only. Okay, so let me Docker PS. So this is app to um, see the DNS name also not created because this is a default bridge. This is default bridge. One more thing. Okay, so when we created our own network at that time, at that time, at that time, okay, it has been considered. It has been considered. Sorry, it has been considered DNS name as the container name. Depends on that DNS name as a container name. But we can see over here. I think. Let me go up, go up, go up. Not here. Here. See the container name as a DNS name. That is that is our own network. That is our custom network we created. For the default network, the DNS names of the container name will not be considered. Okay, that is default network, which will not take in the DN like your network, your container name as a default, your container as a DNS name. Okay, the DNS name. That is the difference. See, observe. Okay, the DNS name means, like for example, google.com is one of the DNS name. Okay, so I already explained in the previous class how the DNS name work. Even any interview will go, they'll be asking an interview. Okay, like last couple of weeks, I'm giving the entries for multiple fellows. Okay, they'll be asking how DNS work. So I already clearly giving the complete picture how that work. Okay, the DNS name. Okay, the DNS name. So it means we are connecting with the name where it will be easy to remember the name. The google.com we can easily remember instead of remembering the IP address of Google. Okay, the default bridge network. Okay, it is not considering the container names as a DNS names. DNS names might be. Okay, so let me log into one container. Okay, let me try to I Docker piece. Let me try. Let me double check whether I said properly or not. Network inspect. Here the people, right? Sometimes don't trust the people. Trust the process. Okay, company will follow that generally. Okay, so the name and if you go above where I see that the DNS names as a container name, okay, see uh, this is connected. We have only one container created for this container. Okay, so if you create multiple containers, so at that time it will give you multiple DNS names. Okay, so the default bridge network it will not be taking any um, it will not be taking any uh, the bridge name, everything it is displaying with the Docker network inspect for the container or the network. Okay, Docker 0 is bridge network, so which I show you, right? IF config, so it will display this bridge network. Okay, so now let me log into one application that is front-end application Docker exit FNIT. Okay, I'm just giving app rob is my first container. So okay, so docker exec hyphen it bin slash bash. Okay, so what is the IP address of, okay, 170303. Okay, so let me, I'm just, my application is running app robot or app robo 2 as a database is running. Okay, I just want to check whether I'm able to connect to that particular um, IP address or not. Okay, so ping, okay, ping 172.17.0.2. See, ping command is not there. Okay, so app get update y, okay, fetched all the details. There is a one command applicate install network utils. Let me try. Unable to IP utils. Let me try IP utils. IP utils. Unable to IP. Let me grab that let me grab that package. I'm not remembering that package name. Um, install ping inside nginx docker contain. Okay, there should IP utils ping. Okay, IP utils ping. Okay, let me try this. Let me try this. Somewhere, I think IP utils. So I just given this. Let me give this command. Let's see. Okay, it is perfectly working. So even I'll ping this command here. Okay, IP utils to install ping inside Docker container. Okay, setting up. Okay, now let me try this. See, I'm able to ping. I'm able to ping. It means I'm able to connect to um the I mean the app rob 2 container where my DB is running. It means I'm able to connect. I'm able to connect from app rob to this container app app. So where my front end application is running here, the front end application is connecting to the backend application, the backend app in the app rob 2. The database is running. Okay, the database is running. Okay, so from that is connecting to um, um, the database. Okay, the database. Okay, so how do you connect? Okay, how do you connect? Okay, how do you connect? So we are able to connect with the help of IP address. IP address of rob2. Okay, so for example, okay, app robot. Okay, in the app rob one app configuration లో ఏం పెట్టామంటే, సో నేను యాప్ రోబోట్ అనే డేటాబేస్ క్రియేట్ చేశాను. దానికి ఐపీ అడ్రస్ ఇచ్చింది. సో ఐపీ అడ్రస్ ని నేను ఫ్రంట్ ఎండ్ వాళ్ళకి ఇచ్చాను. ఆ ఫ్రంట్ ఎండ్ వాళ్ళు దే యూజ్ దిస్ ఐపీ అడ్రస్. ఐ గివెన్ దిస్ ఐపీ అడ్రస్. I given this IP address. They put it in their configuration. and they are using this IP address in their configuration to connect app rob 2 container which is running on this which is running on this IP address, which is running on this IP address. Okay, so that is fine. It is working. It is fine. It is connecting for now. Unfortunately, unfortunately, okay, if this container terminator or if this container deleted, okay, this IP address get changed. This IP address may change or may not change. If you stop the server, IP address may change. In the free tier account, it will change. If you use static IP address, it won't change. Okay, but in the container, it will change. It will change. Okay, this IP address may change or may not change, right? So as google.com, if you use IP address of Google of one IP, so in the next day, well, that IP is working is fine for now, but after 300 seconds, the IP address get changed. So at that time, this IP might not work, right? So this IP will go down if this container go down. Okay, there may be chance, right? Maybe they may or may not this IP address get changed. Instead of using this IP address, okay, instead of using this IP address, okay, so app rob, if I give in the configuration of app, okay, if I give app rob 2 in the app as a app rob 2, okay, where app to connect this app rob to database, app rob to database, okay, app root database. Okay, now even this container goes down or deleted, now new container come, it will come up with the same name. Avuna? Avuna kada?
అవునన్నా.
Okay, if container deleted, it will come up with the same name. If you stop the container, if you start the container, IP address may change or may not change. If you delete the container may get the new IP address. Different scenarios. So different IP address will get. Okay, there is no issue now in this scenario. Because I'm using app robot, whether you get IP address as one, that is fine. Initially it starts with IP address as one, it is fine, it is connecting. After container stopped or container deleted and it will come up with a new container, IP address may change with the IP2. There is no issue. Still application will connect because the application is using the name of this container. So that now there is no issue with using that name of the container of the database, right? So can we ping that app robo with the name? With the name, see, the name or service not known. The name or service not known. It is saying the name or service not known. Okay. So because this is default network which we created the containers, this is the default network. That's what this is not able to connect to the another the container where that container also created on the same bridge network. That is default network where it should not consider as our container names as a DNS names, where the default network is not considering as our container names as DNS names. Okay, how can we resolve this? How can we resolve this? Okay, let me exit from here. Let me exit from here. Okay, so I'll change the network. I'll change the network to Docker PS. So I'll change the network to the network which I created. Let's try that. Let's try that. So we use default network. We use default network. So we were not able to connect with the name. We will try with our own network which we created. That is custom network. Okay. So Docker network connect. Okay. Connect. I'm just using my this one. This one. App one. App rob container. Okay. Let me try this. What is there? Docker network Docker network connect. The network name I should give. What is that network? So I'll go with the robot shop. Okay, let me go with this. So it is connected. It is connected. Okay, so let me inspect this as well. Like, so whether we are able to get that network or not for your proof. Okay, inspect the container ID. The container ID. See this container, where is, see the network as Roboshop. This container as Roboshop, and the container IP address is this one. Okay, this container IP address is this one. Let me try keep it in notepad. Okay, and this is for app row. Okay, so the other network also, see the DNS names are not considering as a container names, but here it is considering the DNS names, the container names as a DNS names. It's the difference. Okay, so let me attach the same network to other container. Both the containers should be in the same network. Okay, remember. So we will attach this container to the same network. Okay, same network. And if you inspect that container as well, okay, so this is also get the RoboShop network. Now let me go and log into my network now. My um, app rob one, app rob one. Now we need to connect to this. We need to connect to this. So let me ping with the IP address whether I'm able to connect or not to see this. Okay. So anyways, it is connecting. It means it is connecting. And let me try with app rob app rob 2. It should ping now. It should ping now. See, I'm getting the response. I'm getting the response. Right? I'm getting the response. So in the default network, it is clearly saying, చూడండి, the default network, there are multiple networks I have attached to the container. Okay, so see, the default bridge network is not considering our container names as a DNS names. That's what we are not able to connect with the names. But when we create our own network, the custom network, at the time that our custom network will be considering our container names as a DNS names. DNS names. Okay, that's what we are able to connect with the name. That's what we are able to connect with the name. So now let me exit. Okay, now uh, Docker PS. So let me remove Docker RM hyphen F. So let me remove the R app rob 2, which is database, for example. Consider that is a database. I just remove that. I just remove that. Okay, if I go and create the other the same app robot for the database. Okay, see, I'm just created. If you see the same container I created with the same name, app rob 2, app rob 2, it is up in the 4 seconds ago. Now, again, if I go and go here, okay, so if I go here, where it is. Very, very important. Okay. So I just removed that container and I created the container with the same name. Okay, I logged into my this container app rob one again. So let me ping app rob two again. Let me try that. How come? Okay, that I created in the default network. Sorry. Literally sorry. So this rob has been created in the default bridge network. Okay, that's what it is not connecting. So what I'll do, so I'll delete this and both the containers should be in the same network. That's what we are getting that name is not exists, name or something is not occur. Both the containers should be in the same. Okay. So, but I created that this app robot in the default bridge network. I haven't attached that. Okay. Anyways, that we can attach. Okay. So or either this way or like so we can just mention hyphen network network as a robo shop this way. Okay. So either just after creating the container instead of deleting that just connect that bridge network, so that's it. Okay, now if I go and connect to this and if I try to ping app web app route 2, it should ping. See, now it is pinging, both are in the same network, our custom network. So with the help of names I'm able to connect. With the help of names I'm able to connect. అర్థమైందా? So very, very important. Okay. So they'll be asking in interview like, so how do you connect the container, one container to another container? Okay. With the name, with the name. Okay. At that time, you should say if you create a container in the default bridge network, okay, those containers will not be considered as a DNS name. Those containers names are not considered as a DNS names in the default bridge network. So for that, first we should create the network, okay, bridge network, the custom bridge network, okay, and then we will create a containers in that network, and then the name will and then log into one container. Then we can ping that container name, so it will ping with the name. Okay, the DNS resolution will work with the custom network, not in the default bridge network. అర్థమైందా? Very, 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 very important. Okay. So today is Friday. Okay. So we'll continue in the evening. Okay. For sure. I'll take the class. I'll go with the volumes. I'll go with the volumes, which is very, very important. Okay. We can see. Chalo. Bye.
Bye.